Well, Ole Miss fans, today's outcome was disappointing to say the least. But hey, Ole Miss got the win on Thursday night, 9-2. We got the win on Friday night, 15-11. And then, of course, today, Auburn got the win over Ole Miss, 13-8 was the final. So yes, Ole Miss won 2 or 3 against a top 10 Auburn team. But of course, as Ole Miss fans, coming in today, we were really hoping for a sweep. And of course, the discussion right now with us is Ole Miss going to host a regional? Are we going to be a 2 seed and travel somewhere? Well, at this time, we still don't know the answer. Now, of course, we'll find out the answer here, next week if Ole Miss is hosting a regional or not. But this is my opinion. Look, I may be right, I may be wrong. But at this time, if I'm just taking a guess, I think Ole Miss is going to be a little short. I don't see Ole Miss hosting a regional. Now, of course, if Ole Miss got the win today, yeah, it's common sense. Of course, your chances are better. It's still not promised. It's still not guaranteed you're going to host a regional. But if you got the win today, you had a better chance to host a regional. And of course, losing today, your chances, they went down a little bit, just to be honest with you. Look, there's still a chance. There's still a possibility Ole Miss may host a regional. But for that to happen, Ole Miss, I think, has got to get at least one win next week in Hoover, bare minimum. Honestly, I think Ole Miss needs 2 wins. If Ole Miss can find some type of way to get 2 wins in Hoover next week, if Ole Miss can find a way to get to 39 wins, I think you'll see Ole Miss host a regional. If Ole Miss loses the first game in Hoover, I think Ole Miss is going to be able to short. That's just my take. That's my opinion. Of course, we'll see what happens next week. But I really do believe Ole Miss will need at least 1 or 2 wins next week in Hoover. So at this time, I think Ole Miss is going to be able to short. I think Ole Miss will have to travel somewhere. But of course, we'll see what happens about that next week. So anyway, just kind of a little quick recap of this weekend. I won't talk about it too much. I'm trying to keep this video short and sweet. But look, this weekend, Ole Miss scored several runs. We got several hits. The offense was good the whole entire weekend. And there have been some times and there have been some series this year, even some midweek games this year. There have been some games where the offense was kind of quiet. There have been some games where you had guys on base and just never could find ways to score. But this weekend, Ole Miss is getting the hits. We were finding ways to score these guys on base. That was a huge, what's what I'm trying to use here? It was a good sign to see. That has been a struggle and a problem with us some. Not every game, not every series this year, but it has been a problem with us at least some during the season. But yeah, back on Friday night, you had 9 runs. Thursday night you had 9 runs. Friday night you had 15. Even today with the loss, he still put up 8 runs. Ole Miss scored 32 runs this weekend. How many times has Ole Miss scored 30 plus runs in a weekend this year? Well, I don't have the answer for you, but I can tell you it's definitely not happened too often this year. But yeah, 32 runs in one weekend. You also had 37 hits. Of course, that's including singles, doubles. That's including the home runs as well, too. So at 32 runs, 37 hits. Offense is not a problem this weekend. Of course, you see guys like Furness having a huge weekend. There's some other guys as well, too, who they were getting on base all the time. You see a couple of guys just keep on finding ways to get hits and home runs. And we had some guys this weekend who had a good game offensively. They were consistent the whole entire weekend. As far as pitching, look, Elliott was pretty good back on Thursday night. There were some other pitchers this weekend who did pretty good as well, too. And then there were also some guys that kind of struggled, if you just want to be honest. Of course, going back to Friday night, Auburn, they were trying to come back. They made things interesting there toward the end. But thankfully, Ole Miss found a way to win the ball game. Auburn put up 11 runs on us Friday night, which is disappointing. We scored 15. How many times has Ole Miss scored over 10 runs in the game this year? Well, it's not happened too often, I can tell you that much. But yeah, there was a couple pitchers disappointing. on Friday night if you just want to be real and just be honest for a minute. Today, kind of the same story. Ole Miss has the lead, and then, of course, kind of some of your relievers struggled today. Some of them giving up too many hits. Some of them just cannot find ways to get guys out. A couple guys had a disappointing performance today. And, there's some more things you can mention about this weekend. I could talk about this weekend more in depth for another 10, 15 minutes. That's just kind of a short recap of what happened this weekend. So, but we'll see who Ole Miss will play in the SEC tournament here pretty soon. And then, of course, next week, we'll see if Ole Miss can find some ways to get some wins, or we'll just see what happens next week. But once again, I mean, you're sitting at 16-14 in conference play, 37-18 overall. I do believe Ole Miss will need some help in this SEC tournament. I think Ole Miss needs at least one win, bare minimum. Honestly, I think Ole Miss needs two. That's my take. That's my opinion. That's all I got for this video. Whether y'all's thoughts and opinions on this will too. Whether y'all's thoughts and opinions, if you think Ole Miss will be hosting a regional, or y'all kind of thinking the same as me, that Ole Miss will probably need one or two wins next week in Hoover. Whether y'all's thoughts and take on that for sure. But anyway, that's all I got for the video. Of course, if you can, just leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. It would be greatly appreciated. See you guys in this video. Have a good one. Alrighty, tidy.